Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Jordan here. I am recording this in my car, just in the car park, just because it's easier, gets it done, and it's out the way, really, isn't it? Usually, I sort of go outside and do a little walk, like Adam Buxton, like I did last time. But I thought I'll generate my own sort of IP. So I'm going to start doing it from my car, I think. But thank you for downloading or listening to this episode. This is my second episode. And in this episode, my guest was Robin Allender, who is a musician and comedian, originally from Bristol, but now living in London. Robin creates music, podcasts and comedy. He's a triple threat. You may have heard of him on the Moon Underwater podcast that he used to host with school friend and comedian John Robbins. He was a finalist in So You Think You're Funny in 2017 at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. He also has his own podcast, two of them, which is the Allender Calendar, where he talks to people about their works and inspirations, as well as Your Own Personal Beatles with Jack Pelling, again, where he talks to people, but this time about their favourite Beatles. I first heard of Robin through his contributions to Elis, James and John Robbins' work. He did the music for D.I. Robbins, as well as the theme music when they went to BBC Sounds. We recorded this conversation over Zoom in early October 2025. I was nervous and I'm hoping it didn't come over too much on the recording, but Robin was fantastic and made me feel at ease. So I hope you enjoy this one. I had a great time recording it, and Robin's lovely. So here we go. So I'm based in Milton Keynes.
Oh, nice, great.
God's country,
yeah,
as it were. But I've borrowed my sister's flat for this recording because my wife and I are currently saving for a house.
Oh, nice.
So we're living with the in-laws, her parents.
Oh, cool.
But we've got a little dog.
Okay, nice.
He goes mental, so I thought, if I'm recording a podcast, I don't want the dog barking in the background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sorry. Like the room I'm in is quite echoey, so I like just some makeshift kind of.
That's fine. I like it. I really like it. That's really good. I have a feeling this room's going to be quite echoey, but
well, it sounds good. You've got. Is it carpeted?
No, it is laminate floor. Have you heard of laminate?
Nice.
It's quite nice.
Cool.
But yeah, so there's no sort of set format, as it were. Like I've been messing around with a few styles, but literally it is just trying to have a casual conversation, which I know can be quite hard with someone you've never met before. but I think probably one of the best things to go off with, to basically start off with, which is like, do you remember roughly when you got into music? Like, because I feel like that's, it can happen at any age, and I was just sort of wondering what sort of age it finally awoke you to it, basically.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I suppose it's like everyone, you kind of. I don't know. It's a really good question. I mean, I'm always been aware of music and liked music. I think, but I don't know I was trying to think about this actually. Sorry, I'm rambling now. This isn't even a coherent sentence.
I like the ramble. The ramble's fine.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was about 12, to be honest. I think there was stuff I was listening to as a kid that I liked. But, I mean, I just was very into... the first record I bought, or cassette, was probably New Kids on the Block. I really liked New Kids on the Block. And it wasn't really to do with the music. I remember, I was very into, video games when I was, 10 or 11. and I had a CD of all the Street Fighter 2 theme music, and I would fall asleep listening to it. So I don't think there's much musical value in that, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's just a classic thing. But it's like when I first heard Nirvana, it was just a total door opening to another world, where I just thought, this is. And I think I was probably 11. I think maybe 11. Yeah, and it was. Yeah, my brother bought Nevermind, and it was just a before and after sort of moment, really, where it just felt like something that I could understand, or that I was connected to me. It wasn't something that was for grown-ups, or it wasn't something from a different era. It just felt, I don't know, it was a sort of revelatory kind of moment then. And I think that from then it was like, I suppose I just took music more seriously in general. But I don't know. There was stuff we listened to in the car, like Elton John and the Beatles and stuff. But it wasn't really until after I'd had that Nirvana sort of epiphany that I think I really got music.
Yeah, and I like that, because there is sort of always that one band, isn't there, that will sort of just wake up your mind to music. Like for me, like growing up, my mum would always play like Madness and stuff like that. But
nice.
The other side of that is that she would always play Take That. So so I've got all these Take That songs like stored up in my head. But like the first proper band and stuff that sort of opened my ears, as it were, to music was like Gorillaz.
Oh right. Okay.
And it was pretty much like this is my band. It's not Madness because my mum likes it, and it's not Take That. But and then I think it's a sort of a similar thing to like Nirvana. You find that one band, and then you go, oh, this is what music is. Yeah, this is lovely. I did a little bit of research. I was listening to your Beatles pod as well.
Oh yes, yeah.
Big Beatles fan myself. Like got into them when I was in sixth form and stuff like that, and really liked your trip around Abbey Road with
great.
Elis James. How was that?
Yeah, God, that was amazing. It was a few years ago now. Yeah, it was. It was a sort of pretty magical experience. It felt very. There was something very much in the air. I think I said on the show, it was like there was a vibe in the big Studio 2 is the one they did most of the stuff in, I think, which it feels like a school hall, and it smells like a school hall. You know, the wooden floors are the same, and it just, there's a sort of weird, almost nostalgia that brought back from that experience, even though I'd never been there before, kind of thing. But there was just incredible sense of, this is where, you know, literal like magic happened as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's like, just to see the equipment, and we went to sit in the control room, and they played us this mix of Imagine, which wasn't actually recorded in Abbey Road, I don't think. But anyway,
just close enough to the Beatles.
Yeah. And we went into the little echo chamber bit, which was really cool. It was just this sort of, it was a very profound feeling, and I'm not sure really have the words for it, but I think it's just that feeling of, I've always liked that feeling of things where I think that the sort of everyday and the workaday stuff just jostles up alongside something really magical. So, you know, Paul McCartney always mentions in interviews how, you know, the EMI staff always wore white coats, and there is just that sense of that turning up for work vibe, and going to the canteen and stuff. And I don't know, I love that idea that it was a job, but during that job they'd, you know, make songs like Strawberry Fields, or, you know, it
boggles the mind, doesn't it? It really does.
It does.
You think about these guys, like you said, dressed in lab coats, shirt and tie, and then they're creating Strawberry Fields, or they're doing all of Sgt. Pepper, and you go, it doesn't seem right, does it?
Yeah.
But so I got you to think of sort of 4 to 5 bands or artists, and sort of memories and feelings and stuff that arise from those. And I've always found that the other time I did this, I found it sort of sounded a little bit Desert Island Discsy, which is sort
That's okay.
Yeah,
but everyone wants to be on Desert Island Discs. So,
exactly. So it's like it's less about like your career and stuff like that, and more about the music, man.
Sure. Yeah.
So have you got sort of? Should we go with number one, your first one, or whether you've written down or kept them up in your head, like a band that sort of means the most?
I mean, I sort of just made a list, and I don't know if it's stuff that some of it's like mean a lot, and then some of it's just had a very sort of impactful first listen. I don't know. So should I just go a random lucky dip?
Whichever one. Let's should we lucky dip it. I think we should lucky dip it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm aware. I don't know where the pontometer might be ticking away as I say this, but like one of the things when you asked me that, I just thought, I've talked so much about the Beatles in the podcast, and I sort of thought about trying to do stuff that I hadn't really talked about before and things. And one of the things that I really did have a big impression on me when I was younger was it was more classical music, but it was like it was Grieg. Edvard Grieg.
I've heard of Grieg. Why have I heard of Grieg?
You've heard of Grieg.
I've heard of Grieg. I feel like maybe like Henry Packer or someone on Freebie and Salad has mentioned Grieg, and that name is sort of stuck in my head. Yeah,
Grieg's pretty big, Norwegian
big name in the classical world.
Big name in the classical world, yeah. But yeah, he did this. There's a great collection of piano pieces called Lyric Pieces, and they're just very. I just remember like my dad playing it. I was probably about 15 or 16. I came down and I was like, oh wow, what is this? Because it sounded very contemporary. Some of it almost sounds jazzy, and they sound like songs as well. So it sort of like it clicked into this. I guess like the Beatle-y thing, but there's a couple of songs. I mean, they're so beautiful, and like I think as well as like I like listening to Eric Satie and Debussy. I love the sound of the piano, and there's a certain kind of, I mean, like, do you know Gymnopédie, the Eric Satie? Sorry, you know it if you heard it.
I would. I'm not too sure on classical, but I would have heard, more likely know if I've heard it.
I'm sure when you definitely know it when you hear it. But the mood of that piece is just so incredible, and I think that this, I don't know if there's something similar happening with the lyric pieces, but there's two ones in particular. I'll just have to get them up on my. Do you still have iTunes? I still like using iTunes. No,
I don't. I had a massive phase of iTunes sort of when I was growing up, and then it just, as soon as Spotify came around, it was just, well, why do I need it anymore? But I used to love burning discs, take all my music off and going, look at my library, it's massive. Yeah,
but I sort of like having both. I like having the library and using streaming, and I like sort of seeing, so I added lyric pieces in January 2006. So there we go.
Oh, yes. But all the data that you get around it as well. I wish I'd kept on.
But yeah, there's a piece called Melody and a piece called Notturno. I guess that means nocturne. But they're just like so kind of. They sound like songs. They sound like almost like Paul McCartney songs, or they're just totally exquisite. There's something really magical about them. I think Debussy called them bonbons filled with snow or something like that.
I like that.
It's quite nice, but that sort of but that kind of bittersweet, thing. I think it's obviously just something through all the music I listen to. There is that like very much that sort of. I do tend to be drawn to quite sad music and things, and I just think that really struck a nerve with me when I was quite young and affected a lot of the ways I'd listen in the future, really.
So was that through your dad then? Did you say it was?
Yes,
your dad Were they quite musical people?
Both. Like Mum is into sort of soul music and sort of classic stuff like 70s, like Elton John and stuff, and Dad died a few years ago. Dad was very big into jazz and classical and 60s stuff, but a huge range of music, really. So I got a lot of. It was a very musical I guess, household growing up, which was nice,
I quite like that as well. Like, I feel like you get a lot of your early stuff from your parents, like you did, and it can shape you, but it can also push you the other way, as it were. Like, like I said, growing up with my mum listening to Take That, I go, I want to find some actual. I was about to say actual music. There's nothing wrong with Take That. Music's music.
yeah. But I know what you mean. Like, there's certain things you push against and certain things.
Yeah, exactly.
That your parents like didn't like as well, and that you played and so on. But
exactly. Like I remember. Have you ever heard of the band My Morning Jacket?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember listening. I got quite into them when I was about 16, I think. And I remember listening to them at home, and my mum sort of coming into my room once and going, he sounds like a strangled cat, the classic. I was like, it's Jim James, you don't understand.
That's great. Yeah.
He's speaking to me.
I remember playing some Van Morrison and my dad coming in and saying, "Oh, poor chap," like that, because his voice is, quite divisive. Van Morrison, that is someone that I've not fully sort of clicked with yet. A lot of people will say Astral Week's incredible and stuff like that. I've not actually got around to listening to Astral Weeks, but the bits, the stuff I've obviously heard, so like Moondance and some of the other things like that, I like them, but he's never really clicked with me, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know where this question is going, but is there any way do you find it quite easy for music to sort of click in your head and you go, yeah, I'm big into this, or does it take a couple of listens?
I mean, like Astral Weeks is a good example of a record that just doesn't really make sense the first time you hear it, and I mean that's something that is like part of the joy of getting into it, is this journey of discovery, than what sounds like total kind of just mad sort of noise and gibbering. Then just like after a few months becomes the most like transcendent record you've ever heard, and it's like Astral Weeks is something special, and once you get into Astral Weeks, that sort of unlocks some of the other stuff in a way. Like it's like there was a really good thing in The Quietus recently. I forget the journalist. I'll send you the link, but like it was like a list of like Van's weirdest moments, and so because lots of people think he is very sort of, it's traditional, some of the stuff is just very, I don't know, meat and potatoes, soul jazz, particularly some of the later stuff. But there's always this weird kernel of something really strange in Van Morrison stuff, and it's most apparent in Astral Weeks, but it's in a lot of other songs and a lot of other records. That it's he's a genius, I think, and something about Astral Weeks in particular is very powerful because it's the sound of someone who's just essentially has no filter, so it's kind of communicating directly, and that's always very, very extraordinary when you sort of recognize that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard a few people say that he's not the nicest guy as well, which I think makes it a little bit more sort of interesting as well, going, he's got this sort of softer side, but on the outside he can probably be quite horrible.
Yeah, but I mean it's people are complicated and people are weird and difficult, and so some of that strangeness is in the music, some of that. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd like to hang out with him, but I don't know how many musicians I love that I really would want to hang out with.
Do you know what? I've thought about that. I thought about that quite a lot. Like, I got quite into the Smiths when I was younger. Don't think I'd want to hang around with Morrissey.
Yeah.
Or recently, Frank Zappa. You were saying, like you can listen to an album and it'd be complete gibberish to start off with, and then you listen to it a few more times and suddenly it clicks. I think Zappa, I've had that with Zappa. Like some of his albums, I go, I can't get this at all, but I always find myself coming back.
Yeah.
I think he would also be another one I don't think I'd want to hang around with.
Yeah. 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 I mean, this was another of my artists I was going to talk about, so maybe this is a good segue, but definitely Beefheart is an artist who I do really, really love, and I listen to Captain Beefheart a lot, and I very, very rarely listen to Frank Zappa, but it was just a brilliant moment of discovery. So I was with John Robbins. I assume you know John Robbins.
Who's that?
Yeah.
No idea.
It was. We were quite young, maybe like 18 or 19, and we were, I don't know, maybe we were at a party, but our friend Alex, who's just a brilliant, just one of the funniest people I've ever met, and we're still really good friends. And he's just very good at sort of introducing you to music. And his dad's a lovely bloke as well. And his dad had sort of introduced Alex to a lot of music. But we were at this party, and Alex played this Captain Beefheart album, which it's called Shiny Beast Bat Chain Puller.
Okay.
So like a 70s record. And we were just like in hysterics. It was like so funny. But we loved it. Like it was amazing, but like it was almost this sort of routine where Alex was sort of introducing each song, and we just couldn't believe it. It was just so silly and but also amazing. And it was just one of those things where, that was really like a turning point. And, we went straight out and bought the CD, and then John, that literally led to John becoming this like mad Zappa obsessive, because he got into Zappa from Beefheart and stuff. But yeah, like I still love that record. It's just so good. It's so funny. It's really moving as well, I think.
What was that one called?
It's called Shiny Beast Bat Chain Puller.
Shiny Beast Bat Chain Puller.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Let me see if it's on. There it is. Yeah, okay, it is on Spotify. That's all right. Because I've found, because I really wanted to listen to is it Trout Mask Replica?
Yeah, Trout Mask Replica's great record.
It's not on Spotify. So how am I going to find it?
Get the CD, man.
I mean, I get the CD.
Well, yeah, Trout Mask, what we were saying about Astral Weeks, Trout Mask is like the ultimate record that it is really hard to get to grips with when you first hear it. Some of it is just very, very abstract. It's very hostile to listen, as for first time listeners. There are lots of like almost painful frequencies as well from the very trebly guitars and the kind of skronky free jazz saxophones and stuff. But once you find a way in, it's like incredible. And what seemed abstract, there are these it's not just free. There are these amazing grooves in there, and there are these amazing riffs, and the lyrics are incredible, and it's a brilliant record, which is almost like, when you listen to it, it's almost like a documentary somehow, because Zappa recorded it, and there are bits when you can hear Zappa and you can hear the studio chatter, and it sort of just takes you outside the frame of it, and there are bits where he's like talking to people outside, and bits where he's doing little skits with bandmates, and it's just such a funny album as well. It's absolutely hilarious. But it's too long, though, is the thing. It's like,
is it?
Yeah, I really wanted to do something where, I don't know, I had an idea to write something about it, where like a sort of 10-track Trout Mask, But, so if I ever get around to that, I'll send you the link.
Oh, please, I'd love to. But yeah, no, I'm going to definitely keep an eye out for it. I love those sort of things in albums where you get the background noise or the microphones pick up little bits of stuff, like in is it I'm Only Sleeping with the Beatles, where you could just about hear John getting Paul to yawn.
That's right.
I love that. I think that's incredible.
Brilliant. I mean, Beatles stuff is just full of little nuggets like that, aren't they? But it's great. Yeah.
I think I know the answer to the question, but did you watch the Get Back documentary?
Oh yeah. I love Get Back, and it was brilliant. Did you like it? Did you watch it?
Oh, loved it. I rewatched it again recently, so I never... Was it originally a film, or was there a film version of the sort of Get Back, Let It Be sessions that then Peter Jackson remastered, or was it just straight footage?
So there was an original film which was called Let It Be, which was not sort of publicly available for a really long time, and always had a reputation as being very dark and very depressing, and it's sort of full of arguments and a bit cold, so what the Get Back film did was you took all that footage and it kind of remastered it so it looks a lot brighter, and also used some technology to separate voices so you could hear conversations when things are happening, and also it sort of kind of changed the narrative about how that month went down, really, because Get Back is a lot more of a sort of joyous thing to watch than Let It Be, and they're having fun, and there are obviously difficulties and issues, but there's so much joy in it and so much brilliant music, and it's funny as well because like proper big Beatles heads, it's very interesting to read because it is just a month, or it's like I think it's like 3 weeks. But I read one Beatles book where someone was saying like John was in the worst creative slump of his life. It's like he's just on the White Album, he's give him a month off. But it's just weird the way Beatles stuff just focuses in on these tiny moments.
It's just done Revolution 9. So No, I absolutely loved it, and I think. Even the arguments, like I can sit there and it made me squirm a little bit as well, just because I don't like arguments at the best of times, and when you're watching people sort of have an argument about it, but I think George just sort of going, I'm leaving now, guys, sorry. It's one of the best moments of just musical history. Like, I'm done. Are you
that's great.
Are you looking forward to the anthology as well? Because that was another one.
I think so. They're definitely looking forward to the new episode. I don't think the records have got much on that hasn't really been heard, but definitely that new episode, whatever's on that, should be really interesting. And just to sort of see them again and have them. I mean, I've got the DVDs, but just to sort of have them in sort of the public sphere, as it were, in conversation again is really interesting because they're brilliant anthology. It's great. I love it. And
all remastered as well, so they look really pretty. Like
yes, definitely.
All the stuff in Get Back is absolutely gorgeous.
It's great. Looks like it was filmed yesterday. It was mad.
Yeah, exactly. I love the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we move on to another track that another track that's Sue Lawley coming out, or whichever. Sue Lawley, she's still presenting Desert Island Discs.
Oh no, it's Lauren Laverne now. But
it's Lauren Laverne. Yeah. Don't think Sue Lawley's been doing it since the early 2000s.
Yeah, you just called a Snickers a marathon or something.
Yeah. So next band artist.
Yeah. I think again a lot of mine are just to do with like very specific moments in time, really. But I've got a really. Do you know the band Dirty Projectors?
No, but I am willing to check them out because it's the other part of it is it helps me find new music doing this podcast.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Dirty Projectors,
definitely.
Okay. Tell me about Dirty Projectors.
So when it was in 2009, I was very, very lucky to start playing with the musician Jan Tiersen, the French musician, and I joined his band in 2009, and we did a US tour, and around that time, it's a very interesting time for music. I think that sort of era. There were just there were lots of bands that I really connected with, like Animal Collective and Battles and Grizzly Bear. Lots of like New York bands doing sort of fairly experimental stuff, but also kind of poppy and accessible. It was just, I think I was just young as well, so which maybe it wasn't a good time. I was just young.
Just young.
Yeah, but no. So the Dirty Projectors, I'd sort of heard of them, and there was a couple of songs that were sort of singles that I listened to, and I think we were just in the bus, and Jan played that there was a single called "Stillness Is the Move," and I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. Like, I'll get the album, and then we were just we'd done a gig, and we got on the tour bus, and I was just sort of, it was a very nice feeling being in the tour bus and in your bunk, and it's completely dark, and it's like almost optimal for listening to music. And I thought, I'll listen to this record. It was called Bitter Orca. I thought I'd listen to that, and it just absolutely blew my head off. It was like amazing. It was one of my favourite musical experiences I've ever had, I think. It just felt like they were like reinventing rock music, It felt like it felt completely contemporary, but it felt like they were sort of also referring to older records. Like, there's a song which sort of references a Nico song, and it was just like mind-blowing, and the voices are incredible. He had at the time there were two female singers, Amber Kaufman and Angel Deridorian.
Okay.
And their voices together were just like amazing. It was like a keyboard. It was like a pad on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's one song in particular where it was just like, wow. And it was just to be there in the dark and have that experience was just like absolutely magic. It was incredible. And it's weird because it's not a record. There's one song on it called Two Doves, which I do go back to, which is beautiful. And they're not particularly a band I've followed since. I've never seen them live. I'd love to have seen them live around that time. But I don't go back to that record much. But that sort of moment, like when you emailed me, I thought that's a sort of moment that was really defining. And it was, just genuinely just this like almost spiritual experience.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's exactly the kind of moment that you want to capture. And I think, like you said, because you're in the dark as well, all your other senses are sort of gone. So it's just like the music, man. The music
it was totally.
Is there?
But you were talking about you posted about the Geese album recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think,
fantastic.
Tell me what do you think of that?
So a friend of mine, so I've posted them on my story a few times. The band Low Girl. Sarah from Low Girl, she showed me Taxes. Just not long after the single came out, and that was one of those songs where it's like, I'm not sure, but something keeps bringing me back to it. Like, it was obviously Cameron's vocals, because he's very unique. I found it in his vocal style. So I kept coming back to Taxes, and then they kept releasing like all their other singles as well. And I was like, I'm really liking this, and I'm still not sure why. But there's always something that brings me back. And to be fair, on the way here after work, I was listening back again to the whole album. And I still don't know what it is, but I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Is it Island of Men or Islands of Men? Is one of my favourite songs. I think it's like halfway through the album. It's one of my favourite songs on it. But his voice, Cameron's voice, is so unique. Like, I think if I played that to my mum or someone, she'd go, "What?" I'm not sure, because he doesn't have like a I don't even know the best way of describing it. He's not. I can't think of anyone with a good voice. Why can't?
Well, it's very unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess the sort of why I brought it up was because I think listening to that Geese album reminded me of that experience of the Dirty Projectors thing, where it was like Yeah, it feels like they're doing something really new, even though some of it sounds like
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, but it still sounds really contemporary, and it's sort of in dialogue with the past, and maybe it's a bit ironic as well. But I love the fact that it sounds like it came out in this year, but it's doing new things with this very old form of music, which is rock music.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Had you heard of them before, or was it one of these ones that appeared like they had? For me.
No, I just really, really loved the Cameron Winter solo album, which again took me a really long time to get into, but I absolutely love it. And it was just through that really, and then I listened to some of the earlier Geese stuff, and none of it particularly grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to 3D Country, which is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But this new
3D
one's
Country.
just amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. No, it is fantastic. But yeah, 3D Country was what I listened to sort of after I was listening to Taxes and going, okay, I want to see what some of their other stuff is like.
Yeah.
And yeah, that album I really liked as well, because it felt like every single song was different as well. And I quite like that about bands that they're not sort of set to one thing as well.
No. They seem to be. There was I think there's a quote I read about Cameron Winter, which was said that he didn't think. He said it's something to do with he said I don't think we're that special. I just don't understand why some people who do music seem to hate music. and it was just like this idea that people don't realise they hate music, and they're making music, and they're just going through cliches. And I think he's just saying they just find it really easy to do stuff that sounds fresh and sort of free from cliche. And I don't think he didn't mean it in like an arrogant way. It's just like their approach is just they really love doing music, and some music sounds like it was made by people who don't actually even like making music.
Just pumping it out.
Yeah,
they sound annoyed.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. He's an interesting guy, very sort of inscrutable.
Yeah. I've listened to Love is Miles off of Love Takes Miles. Sorry, Love Takes Miles.
Yeah,
Love Takes Miles off of his solo album, and I really like that one. I've not fully sort of explored the whole album, but yeah, that one's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something about his voice that's so unique, but also quite beautiful, haunting. Can I say haunting?
Yeah, go for it, man. Go there. The pontometer's already.
I think pontometer's up. Yeah, we'll keep it up there while we're there. I think he's one to watch, isn't he?
Yeah. He's really
How
young
old
as
is
well. He's 23.
He's younger than me then. I'm 29. God, there's people out there younger than me doing things. No, that's he's definitely on my radar. But I quite like what I found doing this and then setting up the Instagram as well, sort of reaching out to people is finding sort of like smaller bands that are either around me or in London, and checking out what they're doing, because a lot of the stuff that people are doing is incredible. There's a band called Art.
Okay.
Yeah. A.R.T.
Nice.
And they are very sort of early 2000s indie.
Okay.
But also mixed in with this sort of big funk sound with like saxophones and trumpets and stuff like that. And it's really like I've not heard anything like it before. I'm sure there is other stuff like it, but for me I was like, this is fantastic. And they literally just popped up within the last couple of years. So I'm hopefully going to try and have a chat with them.
Yeah. That sounds cool. I'll check it out.
But yeah, I've so just sort of, do you like finding like little bands like that? Because I think it's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess like growing up in Bristol, like Bristol's small and the music scene was good, quite insular at times, but there were always like really interesting bands, and some of the musicians I met just from small Bristol bands were just amazing. Some of the songs they were doing were incredible, and so definitely that I miss that because London is so broad, and it's like so like sort of big, and so you can't really just walk down it takes me an hour to get anywhere. So
Yeah.
it just felt like living in Bristol. It felt like everything was sort of in quite easy reach, and so for a local music scene, that was really good. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah. I suppose I'm just always got my ears out for something new and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, do you? So I've got a reputation through work, through they tell me that I only like things that other people don't like, which is not true because I like a lot of things, but because of this side of things where it's like, oh, you've there's a band called Art and I've never heard of them, so they're obviously not that good. And I go, come on, just open your ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mentioned things like Squid and all this like Get Down Services and people like that coming up, and yeah, I don't know where that was going.
What do you mean? Do you get called do people call you a snob? Is that the vibe?
Yeah, it's sort of a snob, and I go, no, I like Arctic Monkeys as much as the next guy, or anybody else. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma, I think, around or people saying that there's no good music anymore, which has always wound me up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, me too.
Because it's like there is, you just have to find it.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's like, do you know like Rick Beato, who does the YouTube channel, does lots of sort of cool music videos. He's a producer and he's got millions of YouTube subscribers, but he does very interesting videos about theory, and he's introduced. I found out loads of cool music from just watching that. But one of the things he does, which is sort of I find a bit grating, is he does these sort of old contemporary pop music shit, and there's lots of like YouTube where the thumbnail is him going like this with his head in his hands, and it's like why don't you do a video about geese, or for example, just there is some amazing contemporary music. Just a lot of the time he's got a fair point. He does lots of videos about AI and stuff, and how that's ruining things. And yeah, there is like lots of pop music is very formulaic, but it sort of always has been. And the 60s and 70s were just amazing because very popular music actually coincided with very groundbreaking music in a way that doesn't sort of happen in the same way now, but can do. But the audiences have splintered and become smaller, but there's still always amazing music. And so it's like Rick Beato's got this platform. Why not just do a video about the fact there is and it's not, just, it doesn't always have to be bloody guitar music, just...
It could be something else. It could be synths. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like, pop... Like, going back and looking at... Sometimes I like to look at the sort of singles charts of, like, the 60s and 70s and stuff. I don't know if you ever do that.
Yeah.
But it's... I always find it quite interesting because it's like some of the best songs from those periods were sort of considered like pop music or popular music because it was in the charts and stuff, and it's like stuff that the people that are considered the music snobs would listen to now. Because I'm a big Bowie fan,
right? Nice.
But there's already a podcaster that's a big Bowie fan, so I can't take that mantle. Shout out Adam Buxton. But so like some of his stuff coming out in the 70s, is like stuff that if I mention it to some people, they're just like, oh no, I don't listen to that. I'm not big into music. I'll listen to what's in the charts. And like, but it was in the charts though. Like, just give other things a go. But I'm not getting on my high horse about music. You can listen to anything you like.
Yeah. But it's interesting, though. I mean, I think the relationship between artists who are very popular, but then also did have a very experimental side, is very interesting, like Bowie. But also, you think, I mean, say like, what's his name? The Scottish bloke, Lewis Capaldi. Say,
yes.
Right. I mean, I'm not a fan of his music, but I think he's brilliant, and I think he's got an amazing voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think he's been really badly managed in the past but like, I mean, that's just from my subjective opinion, looking in from the outside, whatever. But I would love him to have a proper Scott Walker moment of doing just a completely impenetrable album.
Yeah.
I think it would be absolutely amazing. But why not? Like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be incredible if he just came out with this really experimental album.
Yeah. It would be brilliant. I mean, Scott Walker was a pop star. The Walker Brothers had more fans in their fan clubs than the Beatles at one point.
Did they?
In the 60s,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And yeah. And Scott Walker went on to just have one of the most just fascinating careers, just brilliant musicians. I don't know. There's no one like him, I think. I mean, he's on my list.
Fantastic.
And Talk, which is another band where they were pop and then went on to make just incredibly unusual, unique, experimental music.
Well,
I think
we can go on to Talk. Go, just shoot for the moon, mate.
Yeah, let's do it. Cool. Yeah, I mean, so this is, I get in the Sue Lawley fashion, just go on to the another stage of my life.
Yeah, I love that she's now the one to go to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lauren Laverne. I know you're a parent, but
so it's like this was I can't remember if I've talked about this before somewhere else, but I played in a band called Gravenhurst, a Bristol band, and Nick Talbot was, it was the singer, and it was his solo project essentially. And Nick's, he's sadly no longer with us, but he was just brilliant musician, brilliant, very intelligent, very sharp, very, very funny, very talented, and he introduced me to so much music, and I've got I think it was around like 2007 or 8, but the two things I got from that era were Scott Walker and Talk, and it was just like, I don't know. So particularly the last two albums, Spirit of Eden and Laughingstock, and particularly the song After the Flood.
Okay.
Check it's called After the Flood. I
think
think it's
I'm
called After the Flood.
pretty sure I've listened to a few Talk songs.
But yeah, I mean, they had huge hits, and After the Flood. But then they basically, went in a really left field direction and made just Mark Hollis, I think, was genius and made these two amazing records. And there's a Mark Hollis solo record as well, which is brilliant. But After the Flood is just like amazing. Hadn't really heard anything like it. It was so dreamy and propulsive, and it didn't really seem to have a sort of clear, structure. It was very ambiguous, but it was so beautiful. The vibe of it was beautiful, but it was so strange as well. There's a moment in it where they had this malfunctioning instrument in the studio. I think it was like a MIDI like saxophone or something, some bizarre instrument, and it was just making this mad warbling noise. And they just put there's a minute of that just in the song. It's just so mad, but it fits in the atmosphere. It's this just beautiful groove. It's just one of those things where it just like opened a new doorway, and it was like I didn't realize music could do this as well. Yeah, and it's very hypnotic, and I think a lot of that music that I was introduced to or we were listening to at that time sort of seemed to induce this sort of very hypnotic state or take you to another place and stuff. Yeah. So definitely. I love Talk, and I think it reminds me of that sort of period, because I think I was a bit of a late developer in some ways. I don't know. I feel like my late 20s was a sort of another being a teenager again or something. Yeah,
no, that makes sense. I feel the same.
Yeah, it was like, or like going to university again, because I sort of seemed to find a whole new bunch of friends, and then had these amazing experiences playing in bands, and it was just this. I was like, oh wow, this is great. It was a whole new perspective. Yeah, it's cool.
I do really like that sort of listening back to a track or listening back to an album can just take you back in time.
Yeah,
as it were.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love those kind of things, and especially like you said, if people that are no longer with us, and you've got these memories tied to these bands and artists, it can do wonderful things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I caught part of a news piece. This was a couple of months ago about sort of dementia and stuff like that, and how music can help. And I was watching it just like in awe. Oh yeah, because it's just like they played something to this guy, and it was like immediately he remembered. Well, actually, I think they played a bit of a Carry On film.
Oh really?
I think they played Barbara Windsor's Laugh as well, and he just went, "Oh, that's Barbara Windsor." Yeah, but music does the same thing as well as Barbara Windsor.
Well, yeah, but it's like, but there's no way you'd really be able to explain that. I mean, there is something scientific happening there, some neural pathway being opened up. But it is, when I hear a story like that, that's a story about, I don't know, spirituality, isn't it? It's about the soul.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why. That's like what's amazing. There's something mystical about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like music just latches onto you, and you can just be transported to any time, basically. Yeah. No, it was absolutely incredible, and I love that. So Talk, big fans. Yeah. Very good.
Do you know much of? Do you know their stuff, or do you know the hits?
So I think I know the hits. Let me just have a quick check with Talk. It's My Life. Obviously. I think it's Such a Shame as well. Probably most of It's My Life album.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's one of the greatest sort of left turns in musical history, that they went from like pop to some of the sort of very far out kind of stuff. It's brilliant. It's really worth digging into. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think I'm going to take every single one of these suggestions back and go, do you know what? I'm going to sit down and go through them. Yeah. Because I had a big sort of like, what's the best way of describing it? Sort of just generic 80s, new wave, synth pop and all those kind of things. And obviously Talk come up in that with It's My Life and stuff like that. So exploring those artists a bit more is always good. Like Prefab Sprout as well. Like people always talk about them. And another one, I know the hits, but never fully sort of explored. So there's so much music, Robin. Have you noticed that? So I've got lists and lists of bands and artists, and it's just like, am I ever going to get through any of this before I die?
But I mean, I do sometimes think I just listen to so much stuff. Is just my listening habits tend to be stuff I know really. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you find yourself coming back to the same things?
Yeah.
I do as well. There's for the past 5 years, Bowie has been at the top of my Spotify Wrapped, and it's just
nice.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Bowie head, but I know what I like. And what do you think of Diamond Dogs? Because Diamond Dogs is the one that when I sort of listened through to all the 70s records, and that is the one I really latched onto. But I'm told that's quite an odd choice as a favourite Bowie album.
I'm a big fan, mostly because it was quite like conceptual as well. Because he wanted it to be a film. I cannot remember if he did actually make a film of it. But
you wanted but like 1984 was it? You wanted it to?
Yeah, basically, like that, and or do 1984, and so. I'm a massive fan of a concept album as it is. So Diamond Dogs really does latch onto me as well, just
Yeah.
because of that. And there are some absolutely fantastic songs. You take the hits out of it with This is the thing with me, Robin, is when it comes to talking about albums, I forget every single song that's in it.
No, I put you on the spot there. But like,
No,
We Are
fine.
the Dead is the one that was like, that tune is insane. It's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Sweet Thing as well. Rock and Roll With Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm
good
seeing
stuff.
them all. Yeah, Sweet Thing, Rock and Roll With Me. Rock and Roll With Me really does pull on, like, I don't know what it is about him, but Rock and Roll With Me pulls on my heartstrings so much.
Yeah.
There was like a live version that he did. I mean, there's loads of live versions that he did, but there was so much soul in his voice when he was singing it that it makes me sad. Like a story that I tell is sort of in 2019. I was driving back to my mum's once, and I was listening to Space Oddity, and it's mad thinking about it, but I cried, like proper cried, because I thought that Space Oddity was like an analogy for his life and death, which obviously it wasn't, but yeah, I was just like, I imagined him then like being Major Tom, and Ground Control was Earth, obviously. And then just like us talking to him from beyond the grave, as it were. And I was just like overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
And there's been sort of no other artist that I can think of, for me anyway, that sort of had that effect for me. I think when David Byrne of Talking Heads goes, it'll probably be the same thing, because that man is my idol.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what it is about him, because so many people have had sort of the same experience. Everyone's got their own Bowie, don't they? Basically.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's partly it's a thing. There's something sort of, and again, I'm saying this as someone who isn't like a huge Bowie obsessive, but it's like there still remains something unknowable about him and very and inscrutable.
Yeah.
And he made some really strange choices, and the creative decisions are weird, but there's still so much emotion in the tracks, and like Low is just amazing. I love Low. I love the second half.
Fantastic
of Low.
album.
Yeah.
Station to Station is my favourite, and I find myself coming back to that. Cool. A lot of his 80s stuff. You go back and listen to it, and a lot more songs stick out from like the first times I listen around, like the Tonight album. A lot of people don't like the Tonight album. He went a bit reggae in some of it. But you listen after a couple of listens, you go, okay, it was a different time. He was experimenting with different stuff. I can't forgive the Tin Machine era, but but again, he saw what was around him. And he like people say, he was a chameleon, wasn't he? So he just he changed himself into what was around him.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting comparison, like maybe with Scott Walker as well, because when Black Star first came out, or when they were first releasing the videos, and obviously before he died, my thought was like, oh, he's having a Scott Walker sort of moment, reinvention,
right?
And I think there was an influence of that on there potentially, but
There's
but another person who, just I don't know how to describe Scott Walker, but someone else who transformed a lot and changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot to be said and has been said about Black Star, but it is such a lovely send off from himself and to his fans, leaving it. I think Adam Buxton said in his Bowie one, answering some questions, but leaving things open and open-ended and stuff like that. It's, he was a mystery to everyone.
Yeah, but also it's an amazing thing to just think about the power of art, as someone to think that, I'm dying, and with my last days, I choose to I'm going to make an artistic statement, and that is like, when you think about it, that is like an incredible thing to take on, isn't it? And but it also shows you how much expression meant to him, right? You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'll be doing that in your last days?
I don't know.
What an awful question.
Hasn't crossed my mind.
No, I think I'll be too busy.
Yeah.
I think I've got to get the first sort of 10 albums done and out the way before then, and then focus on the final one. Yeah. No, love him. Big fan of him. Big fan.
Nice.
Talk. So we've done talk.
Yeah.
We've got them out the way. Was there any others? How many others have we got on the old list?
Let's see.
We can also do an honourable mentions as well. We don't have to go full in depth. You could just rattle off a few names and see what sticks.
Well, here's a good one. Do you know Dean Blunt at all?
Dean Blunt. No. See, this is lovely stuff, Robin. This is Dean Blunt.
Yeah, I think he's. Again, I've been bandying around the word genius, but I think he is a genius. And
okay.
Like, the reason I thought this might be good is because I had a friend in Bristol called Nadine who's very, very funny, and there was a festival on in Bristol. It was one of these like all day things called Simple Things, and Dean Blunt was playing, and Nadine said he was like a contemporary. He was like our David Bowie, which is like so mad. But like she sort of said it as a joke, but I said I sort of like something about it. But it ties back to the reason why I think might be right is because there is something just really weirdly unknowable about him.
Yeah,
he's very mysterious, and the way he releases music is really mysterious, and his publicity is really mysterious. And the set he did was just absolutely fucking mad.
Was it?
I think there were like strobe lights on for ages. There was just like loops. He came on, and there was just a loop of some sort of public. I can't remember what it was now, but it went on for like slightly too long.
Yeah.
While he was just standing there, and he has bouncers on stage as well. Like the album I really love is called Black Metal, and it's not a black metal album, but it's like, but he samples sort of like some 80s like indie and stuff, and so it's just this bizarre mix of styles, and he raps and sort of sings a bit, but there's just something very weird and unusual about the approach of it, and like there's a tune on in there called Forever, which is just absolutely insane, and there's stuff happening in the production where there's like, I don't know, it sounds like stuff is clipping, or just it sounds like things were done really quickly and very late at night while very, very stoned. It's like the mood it creates is like just something else. It's like the album is like amazing. I think Black Metal. I've just got that up. I think
I'm gonna listen to that on the way home.
And the one before the Redeemer's good as well. But like I think he like releases stuff on YouTube and then takes it down and stuff. So there's these all like these mad people, these mad sort of people trying to find his records all over. It's really kind of
it's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, totally.
It was like have you found the lost Dean Blunt album?
Yeah,
or whatever?
But he's sort of like he's a bit of a prankster as well. Like I think he was invited to an Enemy Awards ceremony, and he sent someone else along, and everyone thought it was him and stuff. Yeah, so he's fantastic. I think. Yeah.
I think that's good when the artist or whatever the band have got a bit of a sense of humour as well.
Totally.
I think that can really bring out the stuff.
But I think it almost leans into something like outsider art. It's like, what are you trying to achieve? I've got absolutely no idea, and but that is amazing. And I particularly now with sort of social media, where everything about what everyone's doing at all times, to have a genuine sense of mystery is really unusual and profound, and I don't know, suggests someone who is very in control of their artistic identity in a way, which is Bowie-esque.
Yeah, it is. it's a bit like Andy. Do you know the comedian Andy Kaufman?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the sort of stuff he was doing, where
totally.
Where, you don't know whether it was a joke or whether it was what. Incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Great stuff.
there was. I think there's one. I don't know. I can't remember who it was. I saw that Dean Blunt gig with a friend called Tom. I think it's like there's one song. I can't remember if this was at the gig because it was really late at night, and the festival had started at like midday, so it was like a bit worse for wear. But like I think Dean Blunt was like crying at one point, and it was so weird. Not weird, but it was like. It wasn't even a song that you would. Why are you crying at this? It was just. I don't know. I think I might have got that. I might have made that up. But
No, I
like the idea of it.
Dean Blunt lore that there's one song that wasn't sad that he just burst into tears through.
But,
yeah, no. There's definitely the outsider art aspect of it. I'm quite into the outsider art scene. Like again, forgotten everyone's name. What's the guy that did Hello, How Are You?
Daniel Johnston.
Daniel Johnston. Yeah, I watched the documentary on him. I think this time last year.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Heartbreaking, but really good. Wesley Willis as well.
Oh, I don't know him.
He was a schizophrenic, and he would have like a little Casio keyboard with a demo button, and he would press the demo button, and he created all these albums based off different demos, mostly about McDonald's, Batman, Nirvana, and people like that. Yeah, and it's just it's really, really interesting stuff, like people doing creative things with music that it's I don't know how to describe it.
Well, it's like without. It seems to have like Daniel Johnston, maybe in particular, or like the Shags. I don't know if you've ever heard the Shags.
Yeah, heard the Shags.
But it seems to exist without a recognisable framework, and it seems to not have the same cultural expectations. But they're the same. I think with Daniel Johnston in particular, it seems to be again that thing I said about Van Morrison, that sort of very unfiltered thing, that you're getting something very, very pure. Because there's no other. It feels like he's just the vessel for wherever these songs are coming from, you know.
Yeah.
And that's very powerful. Less so with the Shags. There's less beauty in the Shags, perhaps, but there is. But you know.
But like the ego doesn't get in the way, or they're not worried about what people would think. They just want to make music, basically.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
It's great. I love that Daniel Johnston story about when he was selling tapes, he would just record the album on one tape, and if someone wanted a copy, he'd record it all again. Yeah,
it's incredible. It's like every tape is like just a little bit different. No, that's really
beautiful
good.
Songs though, yeah.
They are, no, they absolutely are.
I'm gonna see what Wikipedia says Dean Blunt's music is.
Yes, go on. We love a Wikipedia
musician,
search.
Producer, contemporary artist, avant-garde, hip-hop project, baby father, a prolific category-rejecting artist and art pop provocateur. So there we go. I was sort of
category rejecting. I like it.
So yeah, I guess I was on the right track there. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's really good. What else was on your list? Who else have we got? Have we got anyone left?
Well, I was going to just talk a bit. Just another of those like amazing moments was. Do you know Gavin Bryars? Have you heard of the composer
Gavin Bryars? No, I haven't. Talk to me about Gavin Bryars.
Yeah, he's classical composer, but more in the sort of experimental end of things. And this was when This is a very like famous piece of music, but the first time I heard it, I was with Jan, and I was at his place, and he put it on, and you're just like, what is this? I've never heard anything like it, And it's a piece of music called "Jesus' Blood Never Failed Me Yet."
Okay.
Have
that
you
rings that rings a
Yeah.
bell. Why does that ring a bell? Okay, yeah.
It was-
Blood Never Failed Me Yet.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you've got a spare hour and a half, give it a go. But, it's like, but don't listen to the version with Tom Waits on it. But anyway, yeah. So it's like the story is that he had I can't remember if he did the recording or if someone else did, but there was a recording of a homeless person in London singing a hymn, which is called "Jesus' Blood Never Failed Me Yet," and Gavin Bryars put this little audio recording in a loop, and he realised he was actually the homeless person was singing in a key, like it wasn't between keys, so he could like arrange instruments around it. So he started writing a score around this loop of the homeless person singing. So the piece of music, when you hear it, it starts and it sounds, it almost doesn't sound musical. It sounds like someone sort of babbling away, and then you kind of lock into what he's doing, and then very, very slowly these other instruments come in, strings, and until by 20 minutes in, it's like a full orchestra.
Okay.
And it's like, it's like amazingly powerful and incredibly moving, because it's like it's this poor guy who knows who he was, just literally a voice in the street, but it's been preserved now forever. And it's it says so much about faith and about perseverance and about just how you can make magic from the everyday. And it's I just still vividly remember Jan playing it and just being like, oh my god, this is, I've never heard anything like this. And the more it went on, the more immersed in it you get. And so it's like, and that listening to it was so powerful that whenever I listen to it now, which isn't that often because you have to be in the right frame of mind, but I'm right back there at that evening, and so I do love listening. I like listening to it. Sometimes if you have to get an Uber home or whatever, going across London, putting it on then is like something really lovely about seeing London and listening to it. It's a really like beautiful experience. Amazing piece of music.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
that sounds very nice, especially like you said, with it's someone's voice preserved, and set to all this. It's beautiful music. I love it. I can't think of anything else that would be like that as well, whether anyone's done anything similar.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the disintegration loops. Do you know that, William Basinski?
I'm gonna say no, Robin. I'm
sorry.
No,
but that has
good.
That's a similar. That has a similar feeling, I think, which is a beautiful piece of music as well. That's a loop. William Basinski had this loop, and he realised as it was looping, the tape was degrading. So the recording is the sound of like the actual tape kind of falling apart. And these silences emerge, and it's like incredibly. It's very, very moving. But I don't know. You sort of don't quite know why.
That's. Okay. I'm big into that.
Yeah, give that a go, man. It's great.
There is currently, I don't know whether you've seen it, whether it's popped up for you on your YouTube algorithm. But The Caretaker. Have you heard of The Caretaker?
Yeah, I love The Caretaker.
And his sort of 6-hour long album, which I can never remember the name because I always get it mixed up with Everything Everywhere and All at Once. It's like Everything at the End of the Universe or something.
Is it An Empty Bliss Beyond the World, that one?
I can't remember now. Let me have a look. Hold on.
But is it the one where it's like little loops of these sort of records? That's very, very amazing. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was like the deterioration of like somebody's sort of mind, as it were. and I had that saved on my YouTube, and I was falling asleep one night, and I'd fall asleep to videos, and I woke up about 2:00 in the morning, about halfway through it, just to the point where it's starting to break down into sort of this like analog
cool.
horror type thing, and I was just like, woke up with a start going, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I forget he's an amazing artist. Yeah, I think I love his stuff.
Yeah, all that sort of. Would you call that like ambient, or just would that be experimental ambient?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea that someone said all music's ambient if you're far enough away.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that a lot as well.
Yeah.
There's a sort of trend on the YouTube as well of like music being played in a different room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always find those videos quite fun.
Well, that's how wasn't that Brian Eno what gave him the idea for the ambient stuff? Was he was in hospital and he heard a piano set down. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. God,
yeah.
I love Eno.
Yeah.
I'm a big. Yeah. Have you ever listened to his Apollo album?
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's a big fan of that one.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That was the podcast with Robin Allender. I'd just like to say thank you to Robin for sort of taking a chance with me, as it were, because I sent him a message on Instagram saying, would you like to come on a podcast idea I've got? And he said yes, and it's really kind of him. So thank you, Robin, and thank you to you as well for listening. I really appreciate it. You can send emails to me if you just want to send me things. I'll read them. I like to read things. You can send that to thesongsthatdefinemE@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram. You can follow my Instagram, which is songs_that_define_me. But yeah, so thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next one.